when sea salt was Scotland's white gold. For hundreds of years, the foreshores of villages around the Firth of Forth were ablaze with pans of simmering sea water as Scotland's salt industry forged one of the highest value commodities of the day. Pans were first lit in the 12th century in Scotland, with monks being some of the first to be involved with the enterprise. Later, the manufacture of salt was to grow on a massive scale, given Europe's demand for the highly sought-after food preservative. Between the 16th and 19th centuries, a number of operations were concentrated around the Firth of Forth, using the nearby coal seams of Fife to supply the fuel to heat the brine, making this a natural environment for salt manufacture. Culross was to become a major player in the industry. Preston Island, south of Low Valleyfield in the Firth of Forth, was reclaimed by Sir Robert Preston, 6th Baronet, in the early 19th century. A sea wall was constructed, followed by buildings and a coal mine, producing coal for the production of salt in salt pans on the island. 2 further coal shafts were in development when a fatal fire-damp explosion occurred in 1811, after which the mine was closed. Salt production continued for some decades, under lease from Preston. The buildings later housed an illicit distillery. Several well-maintained ruins remain. The island is no longer surrounded by water, following further land reclamation, using ash from the nearby Longannet power station. The technique of salt panning remained largely unchanged from the medieval period onwards, and involved the use of riveted sheet iron pans, supported on brick platforms. Water was manually carried into the pans using buckets, and fires lit beneath. The pan houses had high chimneys, designed to give a good circulation of air, so that high temperatures could be maintained, and poisonous fumes drawn off. 6 tons of coal was burned in the production of 1 ton of salt, so only low-grade pan coal was used to heat the pans. The better grade coal from the island pits was exported. Egg white or blood was added to the water in order to collect impurities, which could then be skimmed off the surface. Once the impurities had been removed, the salt was moved in wicker baskets and taken to the storehouse. Salt had to be stored for 3 months before it was ready for export. Salt production was time-consuming and required round-the-clock supervision. The salters were housed on the site. They numbered 1 woman and 4 men in 1813. Sir George Bruce, engineer and mine owner, ran 44 salt pans between 1575 and 1625, with dozens of workers employed at the pans and in the colliery. Scotland's salt production was largely wiped out after a repeal of salt duty in the 1820s, with rock salt from the continent rapidly flooding the market.